I've made it my mission. So I've made it my mission to provide education and information and advice, guidance, and services to agents who want to win with money. And with that, I will share my screen and we'll talk about what to expect in this presentation, and then we'll dive right in. Okay. So live well, retire better. A guide to building a secure financial future. So what are the things that we need to know and do to build a secure financial future while living a normal lifestyle and doing what we want to do in life? To me, the first question to ask, so I guess just to provide a little bit of a guidance, so the session will take about an hour, and I will be presenting probably for the first half hour, 40 minutes, and then I'm hoping this will be an engaging discussion and you will join in with your questions and comments. Please put them in the chat and I will ask Cassie to help me when there is questions in the chat. We will also run some polls throughout the presentation just to get your feedback and see where you are so that we can address any questions that come up. And again, when you have questions, either put in the chat or just speak out. I'm happy to answer questions as I go along. So the first question that I typically ask when I meet with agents is, are you living your best life? And if you're wondering why a financial planner would ask this question, because my approach is your money is a tool to position you to live your best life. So if money is not working for you, it really should be. And when you, the question, if the question to this, if the answer to this question is not a resounding yes, there is probably a few obstacles. And for agents, I've noticed that there are 3 obstacles that are very typical and common. It's the uncertainty, lack of control, and financial stress. And it is no wonder and no secret that real estate is relentless. There is always something going on, and there are economic obstacles right now. We have a lot of uncertainty. We have lack of inventory. We have inflation, rising rates, economy, war, you name it. So all of this is creating uncertainty and lack of confidence that, you know what, am I going to have all of my offers accepted, or am I going to have enough listings? And what this uncertainty is creating is also lack of control. And with lack of control always comes financial stress. And when you're stressed financially, your whole life feels out of balance. Because again, what I believe is our emotional, financial, and physical health are all related. And if one of these aspects of our life is out of balance, it's hard to feel happy and just have a feeling that you're making progress in your life. But as far as sort of life goes, so my underlying question here is, what kind of a life do you want to live, right? If you are planning to live an intentional life, you want to know what that looks like. And what I like to use is an analogy. And one of the analogies that I think works really well in this case is the life that you want to live. Does it look like a jumbo jet? Does it look like a fighter jet? Or does it look like a rocket ship? Because if you think about it, all these are flying vehicles and they will get you somewhere. But you want to know that the tool that you're using and the destination that you want to be at. Because if you know that, then you know how you need to organize your life and finances to get there. So if you imagine yourself, you're flying as a pilot flying a jet, your life is pretty complicated, right? It's just, there is so much that you need to take care of to make sure that this engine, your life basically, you can take off, you can fly, and you can land at your destination that you envision for yourself. And when I look at Realtor Edition, you will probably recognize some of the aspects of your life that are prevalent every day, right? There are so many things that you need to take care of, whether it's your clients, your listings, and running your business from marketing and operation perspective. You need to provide education, you need to close your transactions, you need to register, things like that. And oh, by the way, you also need to figure out how to build your financial future. But finances get lost in the shuffle. And although to me, if you're flying an airplane, your finances are like your fuel, right? If you run out of fuel, you're just going to crash. Although we know and understand the importance of finance, it's hard to find the time to focus on finances properly and do what you need to do to build your secure financial future. So this is where I come in, and this is where what I've thought about is what is the framework that agents need to make sure that they're taking care of their finances in a detailed and comprehensive way. So finances are obviously very complex, and there is so much to know that we won't be able to cover in one hour. But what I thought I would do is give you a framework of what I think the basics are that every agent needs to have in place to make sure that their bases are covered and you're making a progress financially. So we'll divide this presentation. We'll go over a few things in your personal finances, go over your bank accounts, your personal budget, and your reserves. We'll take a look at your business finances, and the most importantly, taxes. It's probably good timing because we're all in the thick of tax hell. And how do you tie your taxes then to how you run your business and what you need to look at in your business? And finally, how do you tie all of this together? What do you need to have in place to make sure that you're growing your wealth, your financial security, and eventually you have a good retirement? So here, before we start, I just want to take a quick look at our poll. And we ask a question. Can you guys see the poll on your screens? No? Cassie, do you know how to make this visible?
No. Yep, I'm going to share the results right now.
So share the results. Okay.
So can everyone see it now?
Perfect. Thank you. So the first question we asked on our poll is, on a scale of 1 to 5, how organized do you feel around your finance? Because I feel that organization is an extremely important aspect of really winning with money and with finances. And as you can see in your in the answers, looks like most people think that they're kind of sort of organized, but not completely. About 18%, about a fifth are not organized at all, and about 27% feel like they have between 4 and 5. Only less than 10% of you feel like that they're really organized with their finances. So my goal will be to help you give some aspects of your finances that you should be organizing better. Before we go along, I want to share another poll that you can answer as you go. And this one is very simple and very, very important as well. Do you have a personal budget? And with that, we'll turn into the first thing that I think every agent should be taking care of, and it is their bank accounts. What I recommend is every agent have at least 5 bank accounts. There are your commission account, your business expense account, tax account, personal expense account, and reserves. And let me talk to you a little bit why. Does this seem like an overkill? It could at the first glance. But overall, this setup will help you gain the clarity and real good visibility into your finances, and make sure that you have more of a intentional and proactive control over your money. The reason I recommend that you have a separate account for just your commission is because that's the source of your income and your livelihood, but it's not monthly, right? If you're not making a salary that you know pretty much what you have to spend every month. When you have a commission-based income where you can have a big commission followed by no commission, you need to create the kind of a consistency. And what you need to do is have this commission be allocated to these different accounts based on the amounts that you need every month. because there are very few people who can actually be very good about making more money but spending less. The more we make, the more we spend. And a lot of times, if you don't have good control of your budget and what you need each month, you end up spending way more than you need to. And taxes are definitely, you just want to make sure that you take care of your taxes off the bat and make sure, and so that you're not worried about taxes either at quarter end or year end. And you also want to have separate reserves to make sure that when you're low on deals, you can pay your bills. So how does this work in practicality? So we'll go through every one of these aspects in order. The first thing is a budget. Budget is everybody knows that budget is very important, but the majority of people I talk to don't really have a budget. And what I've realized is many people think that budget is a defeat because there is this subconscious I think that if I'm doing well enough, I shouldn't have to budget. Budget is for people who can't really manage their finances, they don't make enough. But again, unless you have a visibility, unless you tell your money where to go, it's just going to go into places that you have no control over. So how do I recommend setting your budget? The way I recommend setting your budget, and this is what I do with my clients, we look at their transactions for the past 6 to 12 months. We look at everything, where the money goes, how it comes, and where it goes. So we divide your money into categories that we'll look at in a second. And over a whole year, you'll know what your spending patterns are. And based on that, we do an analysis. I call this negotiations with my clients because they say, oh, I want this. And then I said, no, we need something different. We will decide on a monthly amount that will be both comfortable for you to live on, but also make sure that you have enough to put away for your future. I do recommend a tool to track it. Because the modern tools get better and better, they learn very quickly. And once you go through the learning curve, the tools really automatically can link to your bank accounts and really show you what you need to track and what your spending looks like. And then obviously you do want to spend, do you want to review your spending monthly to make sure that you're in control? So I do want to take a quick look at the personal budget and see what we think. So here, can we share this, Cassie?
Hi, Rusana, quick question, if I may,
Sure.
or I can wait. Do you have a suggested tool or several to choose from, or will that come later, or are we completely on our own?
So the one that I suggest that many of my clients have had success with is called Every Dollar. It comes from it's put out there by Dave Ramsey, and I used to teach Dave Ramsey class, and I recommended it, and most people like it. The second one that I've seen people use is Mint, and there is another one that's called YNAB. You need a budget. But if you just want to get started, just go ahead with Every Dollar. And I actually do have a number of subscriptions that I can provide, and I still have a number left for that is free for a year. So if you'd like access to it, just to test it out, let me know, and I will provide that to you. All right, so share results. Oops. So yes, 62% of you do not have a personal budget. So this is really a good topic for us to talk about. Here is what I want to stress about budget, that's probably not out there as much as I've seen, right? Not all expenses are created equal, right? If you look at your expenses, there are these drop dead expenses that you need to pay to live, to have a roof over your head, your phone on, and gas in your car. So these are your housing expenses, insurance, groceries, gas, utilities, phone, and health bills. But that's about it, right? If you have these essentials covered, then you can live through a month or even a couple of months without just really without suffering too much. But then there is your lifestyle expenses, everything that has to do with cable and digital media, with your memberships, with your coffees out, pets, and then kids' sports and activities. All the things that make our lifestyle pleasant but not essential. And then we have our luxuries, which is our eating out, shopping, vacations, and things like that. These are things that make our lives pleasant and fulfilled, and give us rewards and luxuries that we think we deserve after working so hard. But here's the thing: if you have a visibility into these three types of your money, then you know that, okay, I must pay this amount of money every month. The second, if my lifestyle expenses I can reduce or suspend and if possible. And then if I'm really struggling, then just cut out my luxuries. But at every point, you'll know what you need to bring in every month to make sure that you can live a decent life. So now, as every agent, you need your reserves, right? So you need to have an amount of money in cash in case things don't go the way that you expect them to go. So what do I recommend? And I've seen the gamut, the reserves run the gamut with the agents that I've worked with. Some people have zero reserves. Some people have $200,000 sitting in cash for years doing nothing. So there is a way, there is a process that I recommend that you go through to figure out how much you need in reserves. If you don't have a process, I would start with 3 to 6 months of business expenses filed away, and between 6 to 12 months of personal expenses sitting in a cash or near cash amount if you're lucky to have a money market account, so that would work as well. You want to set it aside in a separate account and not touch it until you have to. And then another thing I want to say is don't overfund it. The reason that people overfund their reserve expenses is because of fear, right? It's the fear is I'm not going to have enough business, and therefore I want this money sitting around. Again, if you have about $200,000 in cash, it's probably too much. What is not too much? What I recommend is, look, if you've been in the business, say for 5 years or more, you can look back and see what is the maximum amount of time that you've gone without a transaction. And history repeats itself, right? So that's probably what you need to have money enough saved for that amount of time. If it's 6 months, then have enough money for 6 months. If it was 3 months, then you probably don't want to have more than 3 months. And the rest of it is just psychological cushion for you. Because again, if you put your money to work smartly, for example, if you invest your money, it's not going to disappear. You can draw on it, but also at the same time, give it an opportunity to grow for you. So once you have all of these accounts set and money going into them monthly, then what you want to do is have an idea what kind of a month you're living in real estate, right? So I have this traffic light system, which I think is very, very visual and very easy to look at and kind of implement also, right? Do I have enough income to cover all spending and all of my savings? So then, yes, then it's you go through your regular process and you allocate your funds accordingly. If not, then if it's a little bit lower, then you have decisions to make, right? I have enough income to cover my essential expenses. I probably want to cut down on my luxuries, but again, I can make some progress. I can still invest in my business. I can still go along living my life. Or I don't have any income this month. It's January, it's the dead of the winter. What do I do? And then we come to the question, okay, so then what do you do? Again, if you have a process, if it's a good green month, you have income, you pay your expenses from your commission account, and you save for your goals as you have in your financial plan that we'll look at later. If it's a yellow month, you want to use your salary, and then if you need to dip into your reserves, you do dip into your reserves, but you want to pay only your essential and lifestyle expenses so that, again, you don't lose control of your bills into the next, I don't know, 3 to 6 months because you're relying on credit card and debt, and which needs to be repaid eventually. And if it's a really bad month, then again, just cover your essential expenses. If you need to dip into your reserves and not go into debt, then that's what you need to do. But we're very mindful that this shouldn't be happening as a crutch, and that should be the last thing that you should be relying on. And if you dip into your reserves, please replenish them as soon as possible. You kind of drop everything and you start replenishing your reserves if they're lower, because that will give you some sense of control and confidence that, you know what, if my business is low, I don't need to panic. So this is this sort of I know it's a little fast. There is more to this, but this is how the framework that I recommend that you adopt for your personal budgeting and finances. All right, I am going to start another poll. So I just want to look at general, what are some of your financial concerns here, and we'll take a look at, when we open up to Q&A, I want to make sure that we have time to cover some of the biggies out there. All right, so I want to turn to business finances, and again, this is a really big topic. I want to focus on three most important aspects that I see agents care about and concerned about. And first and foremost is, not surprisingly, it's taxes, but then the bookkeeping and P&L and forecasting. So types of taxes that agents pay, right? So you're a self-employed business owner. Most of us are sole proprietors or an LLC, right? You file Form 1040, Schedule C, and you're a pass-through entity, so all of your taxes flow through your personal tax return. You pay, there are two main taxes that agents pay. It's your income tax and the self-employment tax. So generally about 92% of your net earnings from self-employment is subject to self-employment tax. And then you pay the Social Security and the Medicare, but you do get a deduction for the employer portion of the self-employment tax. This self-employment tax comes up quite often, and the context that it comes up with, okay, should I set up an LLC and an S corp to reduce the taxes? So I do have a separate webinar on this topic that I run. So if you're interested, please watch out. I will be putting those out, and there is quite a few hurdles that you want to consider before you make that decision. So if you have an S corp, then you pay yourself salary and the self-employment tax goes away. But you do want to be cognizant also, if you pay less self-employment tax, you're actually putting less into your Social Security. So that has an implication way down the road when you look at your retirement benefits, and they may be lower. Again, there are two types of tax deductions. You can take a standard tax deduction, or you can take an itemized deduction. And this is, when you look at the standard deduction, it's quite considerable, and depending where you are in your business and your expenses, you might just do a standard deduction and save yourself a lot of time and effort when you're preparing your taxes. And if your taxes exceed if your expenses exceed $25,000 per year, then you need to look at itemizing your deductions. And you can typically there are two ways that you take your deductions. You can go after actual expenses, where you need to track every penny, and you take the deductions, or you can do your standard or simplified method. So again, it's important to have a good CPA who can guide you towards what would be the best way for you to manage your taxes. But one thing I do want to say about taxes, like, I don't consider taxes my money, right? It's money that the government is going to come and get. It's their money. And what you want to do is make this process of collection as organized, as painless for yourself as possible. So putting an amount away for your taxes from every commission is the best way you can have tax amounts there. And when the tax time comes, you're not scrambling. How much you want to put away for taxes? I would start with your tax rate, right? So if you ask your account, what is my tax rate, you can at least start with that amount. And then what you want to do is be really strategic about taxes. When I work with clients, I have a tax partner, a CPA, who does tax projections for my clients in November. So by the November of this year, you will know how much you owe in April, and that will help make sure that you adjust and have enough money saved. What are some common deductible expenses? Some of them you know, some of them you may not be too familiar. So all of the expenses that help you build and run your business. Advertising and marketing, commissions and fees, all of your memberships, all of your dues, your training expenses, office expenses, meals, all of these aspects have different rules around how much you can deduct, but you can deduct a lot of your expenses. There are two things that I want to mention is your health insurance premiums are also deductible. And something that has become really relevant and more popular is your home office expense. If you're using your home as your office, you can deduct a lot of the expenses. You can deduct your utilities, you can deduct even your rent or your mortgage. How you do it, again, is there a percentage of your house that you use for your business? Then you can deduct it according to this percentage, or you can just deduct, you can itemize all of your expenses and deduct it that way. So that's about taxes. So then it looks like, okay, so I have all of these expenses and I want to deduct deduct everything. How do I make sure that everything is organized so that I don't scramble at the end of the year? I don't go to my shoebox and look at my receipts, or I don't take a credit card statement and a yellow highlighter and go row by row so that I can get data to my information to my CPA. What I do recommend is getting QuickBooks or RE Profit, which is the bookkeeping software that is the best for small business owners. What I want you guys to know is that once you separate your business from your personal accounts and you have all of your business is spending going to 2 or 3 bank accounts, you can link those accounts and your credit card to the bookkeeping software, and it will automatically every month download all of your transactions into the system. And you will A, get enormous clarity about your business, and B, you will save yourself hours of time. And if you hire a bookkeeper who can do this for you for about $100 a month, you will have clarity, you will have control. It will take minutes and not hours to have your P&L every month, and also have your accountant help you be more proactive, and also help you out with your tax projections and being more strategic about taxes. Right. So there is always a question about, well, what is my P&L, right? So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about your P&L, which is also your income statement. But if you have your books done, then you can actually have your P&L done, which is, okay, what is my income? What is my expenses? What is my gross profit? And how much do I have? Because your profit is where once you get to your profit, then you know how much money you have to invest for yourself and build your future, which is your retirement savings. And then your taxes come out of it. And oh, by the way, your net income is all you have available for your personal expenses. So you want to know what your income looks like. And again, I have a separate workshop on P&L, income statement, what is an income statement, what are the financials that you need to look at, and how you do your business forecasting. For business forecasting is sort of the advanced level of financial planning for realtors and business owners. You basically lay out your income statement for the next 12 months. And you make a certain number of assumptions about your business and your goals, and you put down this future income statement month by month, which also serves as a benchmark, as a tool for you to know how you're doing financially. Okay, so I want to take a quick look at our poll. Cassie, can we share the results, please?
All right, they should be up.
All right, so we took a look at your top financial priorities, which we look at income, debt, net worth, and retirement. So it looks like income wins. Well, income is high there, but retirement wins by far. So having enough money for retirement is definitely a big concern that I will address in the financial planning part of the presentation. But what I want to say is, here's the thing: if you do things right every day, every month, and if you have a plan that allows you to take care of your retirement as you go along, then retirement will not be this separate thing that you, oh my God, I need to start thinking about it and worrying about it. It will just kind of happen as part of your overall financial process. And when you reach retirement, you will have what you need. Because the problem is that's this message that I have is probably good, is really good for somebody who's younger, but if you're somewhere where retirement is looming, then you need to be way more proactive with your finances, and that's where what I do comes in, right? Financial planning, and how do you, after I help you get organized with your finances and have structure in place, have processes in place, and have a team in place who can help you, what can we do to position you to have the security, financial security that you want? So before we jump in, I'm just going to take a quick look at chat, and also if you guys have any questions, I can answer them, and we can just sort of start our discussion, because I've been talking for a while. Okay. Let's see. Mint every dollar from David. Okay, so yes, that's right. Thank you. We'll share the reporting. Coffee is a luxury. Coffee is a luxury, but also business building tool, right? How many times do you go out for coffee to get business? And this should be a part of your business expenses and business projections. Okay. Yes, I don't know which webinar, but you will know about all the webinars that I've been running. Is there a max on home office? I don't believe so. I think everything that you do has to come with your, when you do taxes, the way you organize your profit and loss determines what deductions you can take, right? If you're operating at a loss, then you can take your losses and carry them over. If you're operating at a profit, you can actually control your expenses. Again, having a good planner and a good CPA who can collaborate and guide you towards the deduction that you need to take for this particular year to minimize your taxes, but also reach your goals is where the planning comes in. I was told if our broker office offers an office space to go to, we can deduct home office. We can deduct home office space. This one, I am not 100% sure. I haven't, again, as far as I know, you can have an office, but also a home office, but I can check into this for you and get back to you if that's okay. Health insurance premiums, say I'm on my husband's employee's health insurance, can I deduct what I pay monthly for that from my income? If your husband's insurance doesn't cover you, I don't see why not. But again, it's another question that I can look into it. Okay, and then what is your opinion on Quicken? I don't use Quicken too much. I usually I have used QuickBooks. I do recommend having a bookkeeper who can do it for you. And if you're good with spreadsheets, that's probably good. But any tool that you find is good for you is better than having no tool. So the LLCS S-Core webinar, yes, I will be letting know through Cassie when that webinar is, and please attend. You can deduct 30% home office space. You mean as a standard deduction? Okay, yes, home office space can be tricky with something known as recapture when you go to say along with some other issues. Yes. Yeah, as everything with taxes, there is okay, you can do this, but then like, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? But just being aware that that's available for you, even if it's a question that you can push your CPA to answer for you, I think that's what it's good for. I like QuickBooks better than RE Profit. Nothing wrong with REP, but QuickBooks is standard and all accountants work with it. Yes, I think that's a good point. QuickBooks is the prevalent bookkeeping system with CPAs, and when the CPA and bookkeeper that I work with, I ask them to load the chart of accounts from Keller Williams. So you basically have your business already in QuickBooks, and you can control it, and you can have a good clarity about your real estate business. But RE Profit is a tool that can be very quickly for you. It's much easier to use, so you don't need a bookkeeper to use that. So it's kind of up to you. So let me stop here. I'll address the rest of we'll take another break. What I want to here, I'm going to do another poll, and while you guys look at it, I'm going to switch from my presentation to a tool that I want to take a quick look at. It will take me just a minute. Here, what I want to show you is a tool that I use pretty extensively with all my clients, and it is my financial planning software and my financial planning tool. The reason I want to bring this up, because to me, when we think about living our best life and having a destination and having a plan and dealing with finances and saving for retirement, well, how are you going to do this? Like, how are you going to organize? How do you know that everything that you need to take care of, you're taking care of, right? And that's where what I do comes into sort of, this is where I shine, right? So we go through this extensive planning process, because again, to me, if you don't have a destination, you're either not going to get there, or you're just going to get there by accident. And I think all of our lives are way too precious and also way too short to not have this planned out and taken care of properly. So if to me, sort of finance has all of these areas that you need to deal with properly, right? If you look across here, these are the main ones. They're your investments, your retirement, your insurance, your education planning, taxes, and your estate. If you take care of these aspects of financial planning, then you know that you have a good plan and also a good outcome. This is a great sort of a dashboard that I recommend everybody have. Here's, if you do, so for this sample client, for example, they have a probability of successful to retire without running out of money at 70%, right? Which is okay. I mean, you want to be anything over 75% is good, but they have done the retirement planning and they know what the retirement projection is and what they need to save to get there. Another aspect of this, another aspect of the planning here is your net worth, right? How do you make sure that you have your finances under control? You calculate your net worth. And what is net worth, right? It's basically your personal balance sheets. It's your assets and it's your liabilities, because your assets minus your liabilities equals net worth. And here I do want to make sure that you guys have so I am running a net worth workshop next week. If you're interested in digging deeper into net worth, what are your assets and how you should grow them versus liabilities, then it will be a really good one to attend. So again, if you look at and yes, also you can know your federal tax rate and to plan for taxes more proactively. So if you look at, again, your balance sheet, this particular client's net worth is $2.2 million, which is not bad. You can see there they have high amount of assets and very low amount of liabilities, which is good. Because here is what happens. Your income actually services your balance sheet, right? and your income takes away, your liabilities take away from your income, and your assets add, and your assets, you basically, you want to turn your income into assets instead of getting lost in your liabilities. So the way, again, having a plan of how you're going to do this, if you have a lot of debt, how you're going to pay off this debt, and how do you turn your debt into investment properties or stock market accounts so that your assets can grow fast. What else is here on the snapshot? You want to know how your money is invested. Again, if you have a SEP IRA or a solo 401k, you want to know exactly what your allocation is how it's working for you to make sure that you have enough money for retirement, and your projection is much higher. Again, when I start working with my clients, we fill out in the profile. We fill out your net worth, we look at your goals, you look at your income and savings and expenses. So you basically get a baseline of where you are and where you want to go, so that at regular intervals you update this plan and you make sure that you're on track to meet your financial goals. I do want to, so this is kind of the whirlwind tour of our financial planning, but it is very important. And what I do as a planner, when I work with you on a financial plan, I also know what other aspects of your finances you need and what are experts you need, so that I can refer you to the appropriate experts and have them take care of your finances holistically. I work, as I mentioned, very closely with a CPA, with a bookkeeper, with an insurance agent, with an estate planner, to make sure that when I have a plan for you, I can actually help you execute it as well. So I do want to take a look at the poll and see, do you have a financial plan? Can we share? Yes, so 41% of folks here have a financial plan, which is fantastic. And 59% do not, which is pretty typical. And we want to bring up that financial plan up to hopefully 100%. What I would love to do is stop here and maybe have a couple of folks share, if you have a financial plan, what has been the benefits of having the financial plan? What has it done for you? Any volunteers?
Maybe while they're thinking, I do see a question from Laura in the chat asking if you work in all states. So what areas do you cover?
I do work in all states. My goal is to be a national business. I now have clients pretty much across New England, and when it comes to working with clients across state lines, most of the taxes and most of the issues that you deal with are on a federal level, right? So I can guide you there. The only place where you need somebody who's more local is around your state taxes. And typically, if you have a decent CPA who can work across those state lines, which I do have somebody who has clients across the country, then that issue is sort of taken care of.
I see Deborah has her hand raised. Deborah, do you have a question? If you want to come off mute and ask your question, you can. All right, maybe not.
Okay. All right, so let me go back to my to the presentation. Hold on a second. Just 1 second. Okay. I don't know why it just sort of showed this. Okay, so the last thing I want to emphasize is so the high and far flying realtor process, right? So winning is a process and not an event. So if you want to win with money, you need to have a process. And what does this process look like? again, when you receive a commission, which is hopefully very often, you put your commission in your bank account, and then at the end of the month, you go through your regular process, which is you look at your P&L, you look at your personal budget to make sure that you're on track. You update your net worth. The software that I showed you, it has an ability for my clients to go in and update their net worth every month or every quarter as they wish. So you have a very clear picture of where you stand. Then you allocate the funds according to the decision that you've made. Okay, so I know that my business expenses take about 30% of my commission. So they go, this is how much you allocate. I know that about 45% of my commission typically goes to my personal expenses, and that's where the money goes. I want to allocate enough money to my reserves and my retirement accounts. So you basically spread your money, and you do it once a month so that you know what you're proactively planning for that month at the beginning of it. And then you update your financial plan quarterly with the data, but then every month you sit down with your planner and you update your strategy and what has happened in my life, what has changed, what are my next priorities for the next 12 months, and what do we need to work on to make sure that these priorities are taken care of. Last but not least, it's very hard to run a real estate business and also be a CEO and also be a CFO, right? I don't know a single CEO who doesn't have a CFO. So to me, you need to have this team. It's as important as your marketing team. It's as important as your buying and selling team. Who are these people on your team? Your CFO, your planner, your CPA, who is a strategic CPA, not somebody who does your taxes, and then you don't see them for a year, and a bookkeeper. And I do have, the way I run my team, I work with a couple of fabulous ladies who help me take care of my clients really well. I act as my client CFO, and Jackie does the bookkeeping, and Pam does the taxes. So between the three of us, we always know that our clients are taken care of, and their finances are they're going to be rock star in their finances as well. So I hope this positions you a little bit better for or a takeoff and a really successful financial journey. And if you like to get in touch, please do. This is my information, and I'm going to drop my contact information and a couple of links in my chat. In the chat, I do have a YouTube channel that you can see my content. I put out regular videos around financial topics. Like I think I mentioned it to Cassie. I had a topic on Roth IRAs and backdoor IRAs, because if you've been in the business for a while, you probably have a large SEP balance. How do you make sure that you reduce your taxes when you're retired and you need to take the distributions? Or how much you want to put away in your reserves? All of these topics I address. If I'm always open to a meeting with you as well, and go through a half-hour call where I can guide you, answer any questions you have. I have a online calendar that you can use to schedule a half hour with me. I'm always happy to chat. And provide as much information and support as I can. Please take that down as well. Connect with me, link out with me, and I'm here to provide support. What I do is I know it's a big need, and it's not there aren't a lot of people who do what I do. Please get in touch, and let's get your finances organized and under control and working for you. Right. So any questions at this point? This is just going to be a Q&A from this point on.
Thank you for bringing this kind of class forward.
Absolutely. Did you find it useful? Did you get some good information?
I need help.
Awesome.
That's always a great place to start.
Yes.
Time to set something
Let's get you help.
Rosanna had mentioned she has something going on the 7th, so I'll send out a follow-up email with her information to all of you and the next class that she has coming. The region's also hosting a financial series starting on May 31st, so I'll include that information as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to her, or if you didn't grab her info, reach out to me and I can always direct you back to Rosanna as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think we will be sharing the recording, and also when Cassie follows up, there will be a link to an online Google survey. Please fill it out. The surveys and the feedback help me tremendously to make this more informational and also helpful and more engaging for you guys. I'm gonna here I'll reshare the link, the Eventbrite link for the net worth webinar, because I think net worth is foundational for all of us to reach our financial goals. So, and I hope to see you guys there.
Thank you, Rosanna, for spending time with us today. You'll all receive your email with information shortly. Have a great day.